For thousands of years, humans looked at the brightest light in the morning sky and saw a goddess. Venus was the symbol of beauty, love, and light. We called it Earth's twin because of its size and mass. We imagined a world of tropical jungles and vast, warm oceans. But the beauty was a lie. A thick, impenetrable mask of golden clouds hid a reality so horrifying that no human mind could have imagined it. Behind the glow, a furnace was waiting. Venus is almost exactly the same size as Earth. It has the same gravity. In the early days of the solar system, it was located in the perfect spot. It should have been a paradise, but something went catastrophically wrong. While Earth became a cradle for life, Venus became a tomb. It is a ghost story of a planet, a mirror image of our world that took a turn into darkness billions of years ago. Venus is a planet of broken time. It rotates so slowly that a single day on its surface lasts longer than its entire year. If you stood on the ground, the sun would rise in the west and set in the east, taking months to cross the bruised sky. It is a world where time has stretched into an agonizing crawl, trapped in a slow-motion catastrophe. To understand hell, we must ascend into it. As we enter the upper atmosphere of Venus, the first thing that greets us is not air, but poison. Clouds of pure sulfuric acid, hundreds of miles thick, encircle the planet. This isn't water vapor. It's a corrosive mist that would dissolve a human lung in a single breath. On Venus, it rains acid constantly, but it is so hot that the rain evaporates before it even touches the ground, creating a never-ending cycle of burning fog. The clouds don't just sit there, they move. Driven by massive thermal energy, the winds in the upper atmosphere howl at 400 kilometers per hour. That is faster than the most violent Category 5 hurricanes ever recorded on Earth. These winds wrap around the entire planet in just 4 days. In Tislayer, you are caught in a global storm of acid and lightning, trapped in a yellow cage that never stops spinning. Even more baffling is the superrotation. While the solid planet barely moves, the entire atmosphere screams around it 60 times faster than the ground below. It's as if the air itself is trying to escape the planet's gravity. This friction generates massive amounts of static electricity, creating a world of perpetual, silent lightning that flickers inside the thick clouds like a dying heartbeat. As we drop lower, the winds die down, but something much worse takes their place. Pressure. The atmosphere of Venus is composed of 96% carbon dioxide. It is so thick that at 30 kilometers down, the air begins to feel heavy. It's no longer just a gas. It is becoming a supercritical fluid. Moving through it feels like walking through deep water. But instead of water, you are surrounded by a hot, invisible ocean of poison. At these depths, the air isn't just heavy, it becomes supercritical. This is a state where the carbon dioxide is neither a gas nor a liquid, but a terrifying hybrid of both. You are effectively walking at the bottom of a 50-mile deep ocean of hot, high-pressure gas. It's a physical wall of heat and mass that would dissolve any standard Earth-made materials in minutes. By the time we approach the surface, the atmospheric pressure is 92 times that of Earth. To experience this on our planet, you would have to dive 3,000 feet beneath the ocean's surface. The air itself is dense enough to crush a titanium submarine like a soda can. Every square inch of your body would be under the weight of a professional athlete standing on a postage stamp. There is no escape from the weight of the sky. Why is it so hot? The answer lies in the carbon dioxide. Venus is the ultimate victim of a runaway greenhouse effect. The thick atmosphere acts like a one-way door. It lets the sun's heat in, but it never lets it out. Over billions of years, the heat built up, baking the rocks and releasing even more gas. It became a death spiral, a feedback loop that turned a sister world into a permanent global oven. When we finally touch the ground, we find a world that defies physics. The average temperature is 470 degrees Celsius. That is hotter than the surface of Mercury, despite being twice as far from the sun. It is hot enough to melt lead, tin, and zinc. On Venus, your very blood would boil instantly, and your bones would soften like wax. It is a landscape of permanent, glowing heat where night offers no cooling relief. The surface isn't just flat basalt. There are regions called tesserae vast, labyrinthine plateaus of folded and fractured rock. These are the oldest parts of Venus, scarred by billions of years of tectonic torture. They look like a crumpled piece of paper made of stone. representing the last remains of the planet's ancient crust before it was drowned in volcanic fire. If you could look up through the thick haze, you wouldn't see the sun. You would see a dim, murky orange glow. The sky is the color of a bruise. Because the air is so thick, light is scattered and bent, creating a world where shadows are soft and the horizon looks distorted. It feels like being inside a giant, dusty furnace where the very air glows with the heat of the rocks below. For centuries, astronomers have reported a ghostly phenomenon known as the Ashen Light. On the dark side of Venus, where there should be total blackness, a faint, mysterious glow has been seen flickering through the clouds. Some believe it is a massive electrical storm, while others think it's the atmosphere itself, glowing from the intense heat of the ground. It remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the morning star ghost light in the heart of a toxic nightmare. We only know what this hell looks like because of a series of suicide missions. In the 1970s and 80s, the Soviet Union launched the Venera probes. These were the only machines ever to land on the surface and send back photos. They were built like armored tanks, designed to withstand the crushing weight and the melting heat. But even the strongest steel couldn't survive for long. They were machines sent to their deaths for the sake of science. Venera 13 was the champion. It survived on the surface for exactly 127 minutes. For 2 hours, it fought against the acid, the pressure, and the heat. It sent back the only color images we have of this alien world before its electronics literally melted and its hull was crushed into silence. Those 127 minutes gave us a glimpse into a world where humanity can never go, a world that killed our best machines in moments. In the highest mountains of Venus, like Maxwell Montes, something even more bizarre happens. At these high altitudes, it is slightly cooler though, still hot enough to kill you. Here, scientists have found evidence of metallic snow, lead, and bismuth sulfide vaporize in the hot lowlands and rise into the air. When they hit the cooler mountain peaks, te condensa, coating the jagged rocks in a glittering, metallic frost, a world where the mountains are plated in heavy metals. The surface of Venus is a volcanic nightmare. It has more volcanoes than any other planet in the solar system. We see pancake domes, massive, flat volcanoes created by lava so thick it couldn't flow. There are rivers of lava thousands of miles long. Most of the surface was repaved by a global volcanic event 500 million years ago. Venus literally turned itself inside out, erasing its own history under a sea of molten rock. But why did the water leave? Scientists discovered a silent thief, the electric wind. Venus has an electric field 5 to 10 times stronger than Earth's. This field is so powerful it acts like a cosmic vacuum, ripping oxygen and hydrogen atoms to building blocks of water straight out of the atmosphere and flinging them into the void. It's a planet that literally blew its own oceans into space. Unlike Earth, Venus is a planet without a shield. It has no internal magnetic fields to protect it from the sun's violent radiation. It is a naked planet, exposed to the full fury of the solar wind. This lack of a magnetic heart is the reason Venus died. Without a shield, its water was stripped away and its atmosphere was corrupted. It stands as a silent corpse, slowly being eroded by the very star that was supposed to give it life. But could there be life? In 2020, scientists detected phosphine gas in the upper clouds of Venus. On Earth, phosphine is only produced by industrial processes or by microbes that live in oxygen-free environments. In the clouds, 50 kilometers up, the pressure and temperature are almost Earth-like. Could there be microscopic life floating in the acid clouds? Survivors of a planet that died? It is a tiny spark of hope in a world of absolute horror. The tragedy of Venus is that it didn't have to be this way. Modern climate models suggest that for nearly 3 billion years, Venus may have had liquid oceans and a stable climate. It might have been the first habitable planet in our solar system, perhaps even before Earth. But as the sun aged and grew brighter, the oceans boiled away. The water vapor was lost to space, and the carbon was baked out of the rocks. Paradise was lost forever. Venus stands as a grim warning for our own future. It is the ultimate result of what happens when a planetary atmosphere loses its balance. It shows us that a planet's habitability is not a guarantee. It is a fragile gift. As we look at the runaway greenhouse on Venus, we see a dark reflection of what Earth could become if we are not careful. Venus is not just a neighbor. It is a sentinel at the gates of disaster. We may never walk on the surface of Venus, but we might live above it. Some scientists propose floating cities, massive airships hovering 50 kilometers above the ground, where the air is breathable and the temperature is perfect. We would live in the sky, looking down at the hellscape below, like sailors on a toxic ocean. It is the only way we could ever reclaim our lost twin. But for now, the dream is as distant as the stars. Venus is a reminder that the universe is not always kind. It is a place where gravity, heat, and acid have formed a pact to keep life away. It is a beautiful, shining light in our sky that hides a heart of fire and weight. We look at the morning star not with love anymore, but with a profound respect for its power to destroy. The furnace is always burning, and the twin is always watching. To uncover more terrifying secrets of the universe, follow Space Atlas.